In the grand halls of European history, filled with emperors, revolutionaries, and kings, one man stands out not for conquest or crown, but for strategy. His weapon was not a sword, but diplomacy sharpened by iron and will. His name, Otto von Bismarck. Born in 1815 in the quiet Prussian countryside, Bismarck was not the kind of child people imagined would change the map of Europe. He was moody, intelligent, stubborn, a nobleman who didn't quite fit into the expected mold. As a student, he was brilliant but undisciplined. Yet beneath that surface was a man who saw power as a chessboard and himself as the one destined to master the game. In his early years, Bismarck served in the Prussian civil service, but grew disillusioned. Bureaucracy didn't suit his temperament. What he wanted was influence, and he knew that to shape a nation, he'd have to rise through its politics. By the 1860s, Bismarck had become Prime Minister of Prussia under King Wilhelm I. It was here that his genius began to show. Europe was divided, chaotic, a collection of rival states, broken alliances, and rising nationalism. Bismarck saw a future that others did not, a unified Germany, strong and led by Prussia. But how do you unite dozens of independent German states without war from all sides? You provoke just enough. Bismarck orchestrated a series of 3 short wars, each calculated like moves in a complex game. First, the war with Denmark in 1864, where Prussia and Austria seized control of 2 duchies. Then he turned on Austria in 1866 in the Austro-Prussian War, emerging victorious and pushing Austria out of German affairs. But the masterstroke came in 1870, the Franco-Prussian War. Bismarck manipulated diplomatic communications, editing a telegram between the Prussian king and the French ambassador to make both sides feel insulted. France declared war. Prussia was ready. The southern German states, still hesitant to unify, suddenly stood with Bismarck. Together they crushed France. In the glittering Hall of Mirrors at Versailles, in 1871, Germany was born. Wilhelm I became emperor. Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor, was the architect. But building an empire was only part of his legacy. Maintaining it was the next challenge. Bismarck feared internal division and foreign threats. So he balanced power with a mix of repression and reform. He crushed socialism, but also introduced the first modern welfare state, health insurance, pensions, workers' protections, not out of kindness, but to keep people loyal to the empire. Internationally, Bismarck played the role of a cautious statesman. He formed alliances, isolated France, and kept peace among the major European powers. He once said, "The secret of politics? Make a good treaty with Russia." His diplomacy was cold but effective. He didn't want conquest. He wanted balance. Yet even the greatest minds faced their end. In 1890, a new emperor, Wilhelm II, came to power. Young, arrogant, and eager to rule alone, he dismissed Bismarck. The old chancellor retired bitterly, retreating to his estate. Without his careful hand, Europe drifted into tension and rivalry. Within a generation, the continent would erupt into World War I, the very disaster Bismarck had worked tirelessly to prevent. Otto von Bismarck was no ordinary leader. He was not beloved like Lincoln, nor feared like Napoleon. He was respected, feared even, a realist to the core. His legacy is complex. He unified a nation, shaped Europe, and invented the art of modern statecraft. But he also laid the groundwork for the 20th century's greatest conflicts. In the end, Bismarck understood one thing better than most, that power lies not only in strength, but in the precision with which it is used. He didn't simply make history, he engineered it. Thank you for listening to Explained Under 5 Minutes. If this episode helped you find a little more clarity, consider subscribing and sharing with someone who could use it too. Until next time, stay strong, stay present, and stay curious.